الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تأكلوا الربا أضعافا مضاعفة واتقوا الله لعلكم تفلحون واتقوا النار التي أعدت للكافرين وأطيعوا الله والرسول لعلكم ترحمون وسارعوا إلى مغفرة من ربكم وجنة عرضها السماوات والأرض أعدت للمتقين الذين ينفقون في السراء والضراء والكاظمين الغيظ والعافين عن الناس والله يحب المحسنين والذين إذا فعلوا فاحشة أو ظلموا أنفسهم ذكروا الله فاستغفروا لذنوبهم ومن يغفر الذنوب إلا الله ولم يصروا على ما فعلوا وهم يعلمون أولئك جزاؤهم مغفرة من ربهم وجنات تجري من تحتها الأنهار خالدين فيها ونعم أجر العاملين قد خلت من قبلكم سنن فسيروا في الأرض فانظروا كيف كان عاقبة المكذبين هذا بيان للناس وهدى وموعظة للمتقين ولا تهنوا ولا تحزنوا وأنتم الأعلون إن كنتم مؤمنين إن يمسسكم قرح فقد مس القوم قرح مثله وتلك الأيام نداولها بين الناس وليعلم الله الذين آمنوا ويتخذ منكم شهداء والله لا يحب الظالمين وليمحص الله الذين آمنوا ويمحق الكافرين أم حسبتم أن تدخلوا الجنة ولما يعلم الله الذين جاهدوا منكم ويعلم الصابرين ولقد كنتم تمنون الموت من قبل أن تلقوه فقد رأيتموه وأنتم تنظرون صدق الله مولانا العظيم وبلغ رسوله النبي الكريم صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم.
Jazakallah khair, Faiz. Allah give you reward for that, inshallah. So, inshallah, we are starting this new ruku. In this new topic has been discussed, because so far, as we discussed in the previous one, that if you look at the tafsir of Surah Ali Imran, and if you look at the timeline, it is after the Battle of Uhud. So if it is after the Battle of Uhud, that means Muslims have experienced both a clear victory in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made Muslims victorious of a very large army, because Muslims has set out from Medina to intercept a trade caravan, but they ended up fighting a regular army of 1,000 strong. They were armed to the teeth. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that He helped you. It means He helped the Muslims in the battle of Badr by sending the angels, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala promised them a clear victory, and that's what happened. And now the topics are also because so far the main topic was Ahle Kitab. Who are the Ahle Kitab? What is their background? What was their mistakes they did, and what kind of punishment they for? But now here, other topics are being discussed, and foremost is the prohibition of interest. And this is something that's common with all the previous religions, because basically the religion that started with Adam al-Islam to Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is the same religion, the religion of Islam. When the different prophets were sent, different Sharia was there sometimes in the food and all that, but there was some universal law and the universal religion, and that was the case with the interest. Both in the Old Testament, Torah and Injil, it is clearly forbidden to devour interest. And same thing happened, although this command came which was after the third year of Hijrah, because second year the Battle of Badr took place, and third year Battle of Uhud took place. And this command of prohibition of interest is from that timeline. But if you look at that, all the other scriptures, so in Europe, since it was it's clearly written in the Bible, the New Testament, not to devour the interest. So none of the Christians, until the rise of modern banking, could not take any interest. Although it is also said in the Old Testament, Torah, not to take interest or give interest, but somehow they altered the teachings of the Torah, and the most money lenders in the Europe were Jews, because even in the Europe, it was considered a dirty business, illegal business, unethical business to lend money with interest. So it was only Jews would do that. And later on, we discussed how the banking was developed in the Renaissance period, and after that, how the modern banking developed, and the money lenders became bankers. And after that, in 1930s, when the depression hit, they became the industrialists. So this is the first thing, and we think that maybe it is a modern thing that money lending has been prohibited, but Makkah, being the trade center of all the Arabia, because of lack of resources and lot of agrarian land in Makkah, most of the Makkans were traders by nature. And in that, they used to borrow money on the interest from the money lenders, and that's how they used to finance their trade expedition. But after this prohibition, when Muslims, Muhajirun, the people originally from Mecca, but they were prosecuted and they came and settled in Medina, they started their business because they had the know-how of and knowledge of trade. But now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had prohibited the interest-bearing dealings. So they started the business and they became extremely successful businessmen. And the richest of all the Sahabis of Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was Abdul Rahman bin Auf. And Abdul Rahman bin Auf, when he came to Medina, Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam established a brotherhood between Ansar and Muhajir, like in those people who have migrated to Medina for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Hazrat Abdul Rahman was made with one of the Ansari Sahabi who was very rich and prosperous. So he offered that, whatever the properties I have I will split it in half. You take half of that, and I will take half of that. I will like be in charge of half of that. So Abdul Rahman bin Auf, he declined, and he said that, show me where the marketplace is, and he started trading cheese, and he became extremely successful businessman. The modern researchers have tried to establish how rich was Hazrat Abdul Rahman bin Auf. Hazrat Abdul Rahman bin Auf, to some estimate, some people have estimated that, if you establish only the gold bricks he had that will make him richer than, Steve Jobs, this Bezos and all them combined, like was in the Hadith or in the how many gold bricks he had. Another Sahabi was Hazrat Usman bin Affan, and he was given the title Ghani, means a rich one, and they did that all without any. So Maulana Abdul Qadir Saheb in this Tafseer-e-Siddiqui says that now people are not entrepreneurs, and they blame, we are lacking behind in the business, and because we can't take any money on interest, we can't do the any money lending and all that. That's why we are behind. That's why they point out, look at the Jews, they are in the money lending business and how rich they are. But Maulana Abdul Qadir Siddiqui Saheb point out to the fact all the super rich Sahabas, how they became in the modern terms millionaire. And Medina was not much of a business or trade community, but that's how when Sahaba came from Makkah, they settled and they established a business community, and they would in ahadith. This is the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Quran, which we have also read similar ayat prohibition of interest bearing deal in Surah Baqarah as well. But in hadith, there are very strong words in which money lending or the interest during is condemned. So this is the proof that, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَاتَّقُوا النَّارَ الَّتِي أُعِدَّتْ لِلْكَافِرِينَ, and fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because for the interest prohibition there are very strong words in which it has been condemned. And أَطِيعُوا اللَّهَ وَرَسُولَهُ لَعَلَّكُمْ تُرْحَمُونَ, and obey Allah and His Messenger, and because you are this is how you will have attained the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And in this next ayat, وَسَارِعُوا إِلَى مَغْفِرَةٍ, and sari'u means rush toward or haste toward maghfirata, and haste toward the forgiveness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and toward Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and toward the Jannah. Because when you ask for forgiveness, like sin is bad, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is so merciful. In Islam, we can use everything, even our sins, to our advantage. How can we use our sin to our advantage? This is a tool called maghfirah, or ask for forgiveness. So even our bad deeds, our mistakes, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the creator, and He has given through His immense mercy, through Rahmat lil Alameen, a tool through which we can also convert our sins when we ask for forgiveness into our advantage, because Allah subhanahu, when you ask for forgiveness and do the zikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is most forgiving, and he will forgive. So it is also an indication toward the interest, because some sahabas, before the prohibition of interest, they were involved in that. And uncle of Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, Hazrat Abbas, he used to do a money lending business. But as soon as he, knew these ayahs, so he asked for forgiveness. And he even not only forgive the interest, but he also forgive the principal to the people he had lent the money. And Hazrat Abbas was given so much honor, and through like all of us, we read Salatul Tasbih, or the Namaz Tasbih, and this is the Namaz Tasbih was first taught to Hazrat Abbas, the uncle of Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, by Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And he says that he advised him that read this namaz every day. If you can't do that once a week, if not once a month, if not once a year, or even if you can't do that, do it once in a lifetime. And he taught him the way to forgiveness, how to convert your good deeds into bad deeds by asking for forgiveness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And tasbih is basically zikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, through zikr and through maghfirah. Like ask Allah, we are humans, and when we make any mistakes, sometimes our namazes are missed, sometimes we can hurt somebody's feeling. So resort to zikr and salatul tasbih and zikr, and ask for forgiveness, and Allah will convert our bad deeds. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is also saying, Allazina yunfiquna fis sarra'i wad dharra'i. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving the virtues of the people who are pious. So the whole Quran is basically expansion of Surah Fatiha. In Surah Fatiha, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala described that and teach Muslims how to make a dua, and make a dua in manner that we follow those people who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given the inam, or the mercy, and not of those people who went astray. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala here is giving the qualities of those people, that they spend in the time of prosperity, and they also spend in the time of hardship. So hardship would not stop them from spending on all that. So spending could be in any form. It could be helping a friend if he's moving, if something, a good advice, or a monetary help, or sometimes even a moral support is adequate. And this is what concept of spending is in Islam. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is describing another quality of Muslim, wal kazimin al ghais, those people who restrain their anger. And this is a very good virtue, that this anger has also been condemned in many of the hadiths of Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said that when people are enraged or angered, that devours their intellect, or their akhal, their capacity to think logically. So it has been. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is describing those people who restrain their anger and forgive the people. And wallahu yuhibbul muhsinin. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving the people for righteousness and describing their virtues. They spend in the good times, they spend in the bad time, they control their anger, and they also forgive people. And wallazina iza fa'alu fa'ishatan, and those people who have done anything mistake, like and they had wronged their own souls. So, and what they do is they do zikrullah, and they remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and ask for forgiveness, and say that oh Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so forgive our sins, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgives them and guide them to the right path. So and they are not adamant, they are not persisting on their sins. So there are two kinds of sins. One sin is something of our nature. We human are the product, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us, and he knows what human mistakes are. and we make mistakes. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us a tool of maghfirah. Ask for the zikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, ask for the forgiveness. But some people, they insist of doing it. Like when they do it, and sometimes they are proud of their bad deeds, that I rip off such and such person, I did such a bad thing. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is describing those pious people who have done mistake, sometimes knowingly, sometimes unknowingly, but they don't persist on that. So this is a virtue. So of course, astaghfar, or ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgiveness, is a very good tool Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us. But what it is, Maulana Abdul Siddiqui Saheb described what is forgiveness. When you are sort of committed a mistake, so there should be three conditions that qualify as a maghfirat, or ask for forgiveness Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. First, you regret your own mistake. For example, unintentionally, if you hurt somebody's feeling, you feel sorry, oh, I did that. Then you should not be in the presently, you should not be in that state that, if somebody is doing that, so and in future, he make an intention not to do that again. So three conditions has to be met in terms of forgiveness. Because a person say, okay, I will do that again, and ask for forgiveness. This is not, forgiveness. Forgiveness is something that person will make an intention not to do that same mistake again. He should not be in this state in the present time, and he should regret what he did in the past as a sin. And so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describing when you have those أولئك جزاؤهم مغفرة من ربهم وجنات تجري من تحتها الأنهار خالدين فيها, and نعم أجر العالمين. And this is the reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, those people who ask for forgiveness, who correct their act through forgiveness, and those people who seek the guidance from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by asking for forgiveness. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will reward them immensely by granting them Jannah. And this is the Jannah in which, rivers are flowing and the canals are flowing underneath. So, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that these are some of the things Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is describing. قَدْ قَالَتْ مِنْ قَبْلِكُمْ سُنَنٍ. These are some of the things Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have described from the past. And فَسِيرُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ فَانْظُرُوا كَيْفَ كَانَ عَاقِبَةَ الْمُكَذِّبِينَ. And look at those, travel the earth and find out what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has done to those people who went astray. So in Quran, there are numerous accounts of the people, a group of people who rejected the prophets, who rejected the scriptures, and how they ended up. So if you travel in the earth, Quran and Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam describe many of those people who were destroyed because of their disobedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, rejecting of prophets. But one thing he experienced himself was the Qawm Samud. Qawm Samud was a nation that was in the northern part of Arabia, and they went astray. They were very good engineers. They could carve their home dwelling by carving the rocks, cutting the rocks, and they made this northern area of Arabia into a very advanced civilization. Their engineering was marvelous. They were very skilled engineers. They could carve stones by making the irrigation projects and their own dwellings. But when they went astray, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent Hazrat Salih alayhi salam to their guidance, and they mocked him. They rejected his faith, and Salih alayhi salam invited him to the monotheism, to the Tawheed, but they did not. So they asked for some kind of miracle. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give Salih alayhi salam the miracle of a she camel. And when she camel, one of the rock, because they could associate with the rock, its carving and all that. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala broke, a rock, split up, and a she camel, a huge she camel, pop out of there, and she was also pregnant. So after that, she gave birth to a calf, and they were very. That was a very cute calf that used to go in this the town of Samud, and everybody used to admire this cute little calf of camel. And but being a huge camel, she used to drink a lot of water, and when she would do that, so these people of the town, they say that she would drink all the water. So what you should do is they came and Saleh alayhi salam and said that one day you should assign for the she camel to drink the water from our wells, and next day we would do. So Saleh alayhi salam agreed to that, and Saleh alayhi salam said, okay, one day you will take the water from the wells, and another day my she camel will drink from those wells. So, but these were the very treacherous and very disobedient people. They wanted to just give hard time to Hazrat Saleh alayhi salam. So they again say that this she camel gives a lot of milk. So one day you let the calf drink from the milk from the she camel, and next day we should take it. So Hazrat Saleh alayhi salam also agreed to that, and that's how it started happening. But there was a very beautiful woman in the town, and one young man, he wanted to marry her. So he came and said that I want to marry you. So she put a condition that, okay, only if you kill the she camel of Saleh, I will marry you. So that young man agreed to that and killed that she camel, and the whole mischievous people or disobedient people, they ate up the meat from that camel. And when the calf of the she camel saw that, so he got scared and climbed a mount. But these cruel people, they even chased that calf, killed it, and eat the meat out of that. When Saleh alayhi salam knew, Saleh alayhi salam say that ask for forgiveness, that you have 3 days. If you repent on your act, Allah will forgive you. But they did not repent on their act. So that's why a wrath of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala came, and all the people of the town, they were destroyed. Such was the wrath of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So I'm describing you because this is the only past nation that was destroyed that Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and his Sahabas witnessed. Because when Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was going on the Battle of Tabuk, he went past like it was a 30,000 strong army that went to meet the Romans, and Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was leading that army. And what happened? Some of the people who were traveling ahead of the group, they went to a town which had been abandoned long time ago, and they went there. They found some wells there, took the water from there, and but when Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam arrived, he realized this is the town, the rag town of Samud. So Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam say that moved out of this town ASP as soon as possible, because if you don't do that, he pointed out this is the town of Samud, and those people who had taken the water, so he told them to. There was only one well where Saleh alayhi salam, the she camel used to drink the water from. So he allowed, okay, you can take the water only from this particular well, but any other water you have to throw back. So some people some Sahabas, they had taken the water from the other wells, and they had made a dough from their wheat to make the bread. But then you also say, okay, whatever the dough you have prepared, feed it to your camels, but don't eat it yourself. So this was the thing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is inviting Muslims to go around and explore. So there are many abandoned civilizations where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's wrath came to them because of their disobedience and all that. So now this next ayat, this is regarding Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Muslims have suffered a great loss in terms of this battle of Uhud. And I will briefly give you an account of what happened in Uhud. Uhud, after the battle of Badr, where Muslims was granted a clear victory to Quraysh, an army defeated, and they were humiliated. When he arrived in caravan, a huge caravan of camels. Now all the of Quraysh, the battle of Badr, Abu Sheba, he never made it to the battlefield, encourage and finance that. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent Abu Lahab, and he died this battle of Badr. Medical. So now Abu Sufyan found the new chief of and he wanted to avenge the battle of Badr, what the Quraysh who had suffered the humiliation. So he had brought the trade caravan into the Makkah. So he knew it was a combined caravan of all the different people of Quraysh. So he knew who profited how much from this trade. So he went with, as we discussed, Umayyah bin Khalf. He was also killed in the battle of Badr. So his son Safwan was there. So he took him with him, and also the son of Abu Jahl, Akrama. So he took him and he knocked on each and every door of Makkah and says that, it is time to, donate your money for the cause. We will buy good weapons and all that, and we will avenge what happened in Badr. And not only that financially they were getting the money, but Abu Sufyan also worked on diplomacy. He realized that we Quraysh are small in number, but we have immense influence on other tribes, because as a custodian of Kaaba, so he invited Banu Kanana. Banu Kanana was actually the parent tribe of Quraysh, because before Fahr bin Malik, who was the 11th ancestor of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, this tribe used to call Banu Kanana. But after Quraysh, Fahr bin Malik, that tribe split. So those other people who are not from the progeny of Fahl bin Malik, they start calling themselves Quraysh, and the rest of them they remain calling themselves Banu Kanana. So he invited Banu Kanana, that of his brotherhood and all that, and he was able to rally their support as well, and he was able to rally another tribe. So he combined it, and like in those days, if you travel by horseback or camelback, so a leisure or normal journey would from the Makkah to Medina would be 2 weeks, 14 days or something like that. But what he did, he managed to surprise Muslims, and what he did, that he hastily marched all the caravan, 3,000 strong military warriors, and he went right to the suburbs of Medina, where the Mount Uhud is, because Battle of Badr was fought something in between, in the middle ground between Mecca and Medina. But this Battle of Uhud, if those people who have visited Medina, they know that where the Uhud cemetery is now, it is right in the Medina, just the suburb of Medina. At that time, it was a little bit outside, but now it is right in the middle of Medina. So Abu Sufyan was able to surprise Muslims. But when Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam marched, he had 1,000 Sahabas with him. So again, the same proportion, because in Badr there were 313 Sahabas, versus 1,000 strong Quraysh army. And again, the proportion was the same. 1,000 Muslim warriors march into the ground of Uhud, and they met a 3 times stronger army, which was 3,000 strong Quraysh army. But Nabi Sallallahu Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَرَفَعْنَا لَكَ ذِكْرَكَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has exalted your name, Nabi Sallallahu. So every aspect of the life, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has exalted the name of Nabi Sallallahu, not only as a prophet and all that, but also as a military genius. So Nabi Sallallahu meticulously planned the war. And what he did, he put the mountain of Uhud on his back. And because this way nobody could attack from the back and hurt Muslims, and he faced a 3 times stronger army, which was Quraysh and its allied tribes. And when the battle started, again Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Nabi Sallallahu, but there was a passage on the mountain Uhud that where enemies could attack from. So he appointed 50 archers there. So in case if Quraysh try to go and attack from that pass, so they have 50 archers, and Nabi Sallallahu appointed Abdullah bin Jubair as the commander of those archers. So this way that covered, and as it was a custom in the Arabia, that started with the individual combat. In Arabic they call it Mariza. So in which Muslims, they had the upper hand, they killed all their champions, and the general battle started. And again, Allah subhanahu Nabi Sallallahu, he planned it so well that 1,000 strong army was able to defeat an army which was 3 times larger than their army, and they started running away. And Abu Sufyan's wife, Hinda, because if you know Abu Sufyan's wife Hinda, she was daughter of Adba bin Rabia, the chief who was killed in the Battle of Badr. So all she had in her mind, because when Abu Sufyan arrived in Makkah after the trade mission, so his wife said, my uncle, my father, and my brother, because the champions who came forward in the Badr to fight the Muslims, it was Adba, his brother Sheba, and his son Walid. So they were all killed by Muslim warriors, Hazrat Hamza, Hazrat Ali, and Hazrat Ubaidah. So when it happened, so Abu Sufyan's wives was all she had in her mind was the avenge her father, her uncle, her chacha, and her brother. So she was, in today's term, you can call her cheerleader or whatever. She came and she was singing that, oh, you warriors, you go and fight bravely, and we women, the people who are cheering the warriors, will come and hug you. And if you run away from the battlefield, we will separate. So she was sort of motivating all the soldiers. But when the defeat happened, they all run away. And when all run away, so 1,000 strong army was able to defeat an army that was 3 times stronger. So Muslims, they started looting their armor and whatever, the shields or whatever and all that. So the 50 people who were guarding the passage at the mountain Uhud, so under the command of Abdullah bin Jubair, so they saw that, oh, our brothers are getting all the things, all the weapons, the spoils of war. So we don't want to miss out on that. So Nabi had strictly warned them not to abandon this passage. So Abdullah bin Jubair reminded them, what did Nabi say? So it is not that it was their disobedience, but they say that it was still the battle. Now we have won the battle and enemies are fleeing it. So we have won. So we never moved from this passage till the battle was waging on. So it is okay now. So all 40 people, they left the this passage, and they went and joined the other Muslims. And only 10 people remain at the pass, 10 archers under the command of their commander, Abdullah bin Jubair. Khalid bin Walid, who had not converted to Islam till then, he was commanding a cavalry unit of Quraysh. And when he saw that, this passage is all empty, so he moved to the other side of Mountain Odd, and from the passage he attacked. And when passage he attacked from the rear, so Muslim was not expecting. They thought that they had won the war, and when they thought that they had won the war, an attack came. So their rank, Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, when he would plan the battlefield, he will organize columns and rows. These are your columns, and he will instruct Muslims not to break their ranks and columns. But when there was an attack from the back, that broke their columns and their ranks, and they started confusion settled. So Nabi, and I'll give you a little bit of background of that. There was one person, because when Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam arrived in Medina, he brought a lot of barakat. First of all, he immediately ended the civil war that was, going on in Medina for last 350 years. He brought prosperity because his Sahabas were the traders. So they brought the trade and trade know-how into Medina. But some people were unhappy. And there was one person named Abu Amir Fasiq. So he had converted to Christianity. And what he did when he first came, like when Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam came, so he did not like the presence of Muslims, and he moved away from that. And he was the actually uncle of chief of the hypocrites, whose name was Abdullah bin Ubay. Abdullah bin Ubay was the nephew, and Abu Amir Fasiq was the uncle. Maybe he was the Mamu and he was the Bhanja. And this person, Abdullah bin Ubay, he hypocritically, after the Battle of Badr, he said, I'm converting to Islam, but he was the hypocrites. He was conspiring against the Islam. But Abu Amir Fasiq openly, opposed Islam, and he went to Mecca, and he told Quraysh, Abu Sufyan, that I'm called the Rahib, or the pious one in the Medina. So I will go with you, and whatever will happen when my people, which is Ansar, when they see me that their pious one is in the side of Quraysh, they will turn sides and come and join you and abandon Mazallah, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. But that did not happen. So what he had done when he had come with the Quraysh, his followers of Abu Amir Fasiq, they have dug some ditches there, so Muslims army could fall. So when the counter-attack happened from the passage under the leadership of Khalid bin Walid, so there was a confusion, and Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam fell in one of the ditch. And Shaitan, what he came, that Mazallah, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam has been martyred. And when this thing happened, so there was a sort of very bad feeling that radiated among Muslims. A lot of Sahabas, what they did, they throw away their swords. They say, we lost the person, the very person that we were fighting for, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Now he's no more in this world. Why should we fight? So they throw away. And one of them even said that, let's go to Abdullah bin Ubay, the chief of hypocrites. Maybe, he will come and sort of negotiate a peace between us and Quraysh. So one of the reasons was that one of the Sahabis of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, very good Sahabi, Mus'ab bin Umair, who looked very familiar to Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. He was an early convert and an alim Sahabi, but his face was very much like the face of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. When he got martyred, and a lot of people thought that, Mus'ab bin Umair was Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And Shaitan kept shouting, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam has been martyred. And when everybody, so what happened, once a few group of Sahabis, they realized then in the ditch, when Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam there, so Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam got up and said that I'm alive. And when they heard it, so all this feeling of despair and all this feeling of sadness disappeared. a group of Sahabis came and they uh, uh, helped Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam get out of that ditch. And when Quraysh saw that Muslims are there, so what they did, they all of them they gather and through a full attack with the ditch where Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam had fell. But one of the Sahabis, uh, a group of Sahabis, they surrounded Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and they fought very bravely. And uh, they fought so such bravery that all their attacks were repulsed. And since Uhud mountain was in their back, so slowly Muslims started retreating toward the mountain, and they started climbing mountain. And this Quraysh, they tried to chase them into the mountain Uhud, but from there they throw the rocks and the arrows, so they did not dare to climb the mountain. So this is a historical record that cave when which is there when Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam took the refuge is still there. I had the honor in 2016 to come and went and visited that. So when Abu Sufyan, so in this whole melee, what Hinda, the wife of Abu Sufyan, she had told one of the slave, his name was Vashi, that if you kill any of 3 people, I will. She was not the owner of Vashi, but she had negotiated with the owner that I will arrange for your freedom. So Vashi, when this whole battle was going on, Vashi was behind a rock. He was not fighting, but he was looking for those 3 people. Who were the 3 people? The Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, Hinda said that any 3 of the 3 people you kill, I will arrange for your freedom. One would be either Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, Hazrat Ali, or Hazrat Hamza. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam his guards were around him, those guard Sahabas, so he could not approach Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Then he looked at the second option, which was Hazrat Ali. But Hazrat Ali was fighting and he was very much involved in the fighting, but he was also scanning the areas, who's coming toward me and all that. The third one, Hazrat Hamza, he was involved so much into the thing that everybody who's coming, so he picked up the target as Hazrat Hamza. And Vashi, he was a javelin thrower, so he had a javelin, so he hit down. And when Hazrat Hamza approached this rock, so he came out and threw the javelin at Hazrat Hamza, and that killed Hazrat Hamza. And Hazrat Hamza, the last thing he did, he looked at Vashi and he wanted to march toward him to kill him, but all of a sudden he vomited some blood and he fell, and he became shaheed. Later on, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said that Hazrat Hamza, when he traveled and the 7 heavens and went to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, on each of the heaven he wrote it, I am the lion of Allah and his prophet. And all the 7 skies, he wrote that, and then he traveled. And anyway, when Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam retreated toward the mountain Uhud, Abu Sufyan approached, and he tried to talk to Muslims. And Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam told that Sahaba not to respond to what Abu Sufyan is saying. But Hazrat Umar Farooq could not contain his emotions. So when Abu Sufyan said Hubal is great, Hubal was one of their idols. So this way Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam say Allah is great. So Hazrat Umar Farooq responds, says Allah is great, not Hubal. So he says that today we avenge the dead of Badr. Abu Sufyan said that. So Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam told Umar Farooq to say that your dead and our dead cannot be equal. Your deaths are in hellfire and our deaths are in heaven. And when he did that, Abu Sufyan said, let's go back, and he went back. So Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam told Hazrat Ali that go see what Abu Sufyan is doing, because Quraysh and the Arabians in general, what they would do when they will fight on the horseback in the battlefield, and when they would actually travel from a city to it, they will ride on the camel back. So Hazrat Ali, when he saw up from the Uhud mountain, he saw that these returning Quraysh tribe, they were mounted on the camels, and they were the horses were on their side. So that's how established that they are not attacking Medina. So although they had won the war battle, but they had seen what Muslims could do. 1/3 of their army could defeat an army 3 times larger than them. So they did not find courage to attack Medina, and they returned to Mecca. So this is a very important thing. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying in this ayat that, what you have suffered, Quraysh had suffered similar things. So this is the ayats. Wala tahinu wala tahazanu. Do not be, do not lose your heart, and do not fall in the despair. So if you have suffered something like that, look at the Battle of Badr. In the Battle of Badr, they have suffered the same kind of humiliation and some kind of same thing there. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is counseling Muslim and saying that, do not lose your heart. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving a sort of a prophecy that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will purify Muslims, So those people, if you look at the next ayat, وَلْيُمْحِصُ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَيَمْحَقُ الْكَافِرِينَ, and Allah will destroy those. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that in the later on, the battles that follow, what battles? It was Jang-e-Ahzab, the battle of Trench, and also the conquest of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that, Allah will destroy all of them. The religion of idol worshipping or Quraysh they used to worship, all their thing was described. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is prophesying that that prophecy came true in the conquest of Makkah. On other note, I would say that one of the Sahabis that faced martyrdom was also, Abu Amir Fasiq, who was the enemy of Islam and came with the Quraysh. But his own son, sorry, I do not remember his name now, but he's called, his own son was fighting. It was a renowned Sahabi, and he was fighting with Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and he faced his martyrdom. And a lot of angels came and gave him the ghusl. So he's also called the Ghasil al-Mulaika. So that's how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shows that, that even from a bad father, his progeny, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can make, good people out of that. And such was the case. So I will stop here, and inshallah we'll discuss further, because as I'm traveling, and inshallah anything, I will skip the questions as well, because it's not a proper setup here. So inshallah any questions, inshallah we'll try to take it in the next Sunday.